Bernard Tobin here at the Ontario Federation of Agriculture Annual Conference and Convention, and joined now by Keith Currie, once again, President of the OFA, sir. Acclaimed this year. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. It's certainly good to know that my board is still behind me, and I look forward to leading them again next year.
Now, this is the third year. You're back again. What does it say that, again, maybe being acclaimed, what does it say about, I guess, the job you're doing for this organization?
Well, I hope it reflects on the fact that I am hopefully leading in the right way. Either that or nobody else wants to do this. I'm not sure which. But no, we are working very well as a board. We're very cohesive, and we've certainly come a long way in making sure that the board is well engaged in all we're doing, and I think it's showing in some of the results that we're getting.
Now, we've talked in the last year, and we talked a lot about producing prosperity. Your strategy for, a provincial campaign election, and just in general for the organization. I think you would agree, and most people would agree, that it was pretty successful. I'm even starting to hear elements of that, that let's take the message to the urban consumer, to the urban politician, coming out of the CFA, and with a federal election coming up in the new year. I guess, how satisfying is that?
Well, we're really encouraged by what we've seen since the provincial election here in June. Of course, that was the crux of our campaign, was the Producing Prosperity, or economic development theme. And we had a lot of uptake from all different party candidates. We're hearing provincially when the government's speaking now, they're using the term prosperity. And when you look at what we're seeking out through the distributed economic development for urban or rural Ontario, it's the same for right across the country. The same needs are there. The infrastructure needs, whether it's roads and bridges or broadband, or in our case natural gas, but the core infrastructure requirements are there right across the country, as well as the economic prosperity in rural Ontario, rural Canada. So it's an easy transition into a national campaign. So I'm pretty excited that we're starting to talk about it at CFA as being where we go with our push next fall.
We're going into about 6 months here in Ontario of the Doug Ford government. Just want to get your sense of what you've seen so far. I think there's a lot. You've heard some things on red tape. We've seen some wages. Movement there. We've seen some natural gas, movement on a program there. How do you assess this government almost 6 months in?
Well, of course, anytime you have a change in government, you always worry about, starting over from a relationship standpoint. And certainly there's a lot of new faces on the staff side. But with respect to the cabinet ministers, there's a lot of folks who we have a long-standing relationship with. So that's made the conversations very easy to begin with. So they're pushed right now. Of course, they're stressing the fact that Ontario is deep in debt. And so they're pulling back and not spending a lot of money excessively. But on the flip side, they're also looking to reduce the burden on businesses that, especially around regulatory burdens, and saying that if we can make life easier for you to do business, you will be more successful, more profitable. And that's kind of what they're doing, and they're looking for more ways to do that. And we've had a couple quick wins on a few items we proposed to them right away, and they went to work on them, and we've accomplished success there. We've got some more that we're working on, and of course the natural gas regulatory changes made it much easier for cross-subsidization now, which was really one of the key stumbling blocks to getting the gas companies further engaged. We are not holding back and asking for investment by the government as well to really get that going, but there's a willingness there to actually create a business climate that's proactive, and so we certainly want to, they recognize how big agriculture is in Ontario, and so those conversations are going well at this point. And although it's been 6 months, it's really a short time frame to really get the ship turned around, but we're encouraged by what we see so far.
I want to ask you about some other priorities. Obviously, rural broadband has been such a big conversation. Do you see any movement there, possibly in the next year?
Well, the NDP agriculture critic, John Vantoff, who's not only a former board member of OFA, but a long-time farmer and friend of OFA, introduced a bill, I believe it was last Thursday, asking for $1 billion over 10 years and to be invested in rural broadband. It certainly is a key piece to our producing prosperity push. It's been talked ad nauseum, and there's a recognition that rural broadband needs to be upgraded. So, I think the government right now is just kind of letting the dust settle to see where they are financially. I think you're going to see that investment. There's federal money sitting there. The federal infrastructure minister told me a couple weeks ago that there's $10 billion in infrastructure sitting there waiting for Ontario. So, of course, it's on a cost share basis, but let's grab that money while it's there to grab. And so we're going to continue to push the provincial government. Certainly, the SWIFT project is something we want to get moving as well. And there's a lot of talk, and I don't think they're going to be able to escape not putting some investment into broadband.
Final thing I want to talk about is climate change. I mean, cap and trade is gone, but I think farmers and all Ontarians want to know what the plan is. What do you expect, or what do you hope to hear from this government? What do farmers want from this government in the years ahead?
Well, under the old climate action plan that the Liberals had, agriculture was exempt as an emitter, but our struggles came with the fact that there was some heavy levies on farm fuels, especially when you look at natural gas and propane. It was really hurting our greenhouse sector, but we don't have alternative uses like electricity for our machinery, for example. So, and the problem with the levies is we can't pass that cost on. We as farmers have to bear that cost ourselves, and we're 6% of the problem, but we're 20% of the solution. So, when talking with the new government, and they're well aware that they're certainly not going to have a carbon tax. They're not going to do any kind of a cap and trade program, but they do have a carbon plan, and we've been talking with them about exempting agriculture again, and certainly exempting the farm fuels, and we're getting some positive feedback that we may have some success there. The federal government is ready with their plan in case they don't, but it looks like probably by the 1st of December or shortly after, the province will have their plan in place and we'll know better where it's at. I think they're looking to punish polluters. I think that's kind of the thing that they're looking at. Certainly agriculture is not a polluter, so I'm encouraged by what I'm hearing so far, and we're going to continue to have those conversations to make sure that we get our fair share.